Okay, now, since this is our first meeting, I will introduce you first to the SPSS environment. So, as you can see in the screen, that is what the SPSS environment looks like. So, I am using SPSS 25. So, if you can have your own SPSS, it would be better because it is necessary for the subject to have that software in your laptop so that we will go smoothly with this topic. And the manner of instruction for my subject would be Taglish, so that both of us might communicate on the end of the video. So this is the SPSS environment. So it looks like, it's like a spreadsheet. Parang Microsoft Excel nyo lang ito. Ang pinagkaiba nga lang, if in the case of Microsoft Excel or spreadsheet, you compute using or by drafting or by formulating an algorithm. Here at SPSS, you can done just by clicking. But we cannot dispose some other purpose of creating an algorithm to create another variables. What you can see now on the screen is what we call the variable view. On the later part, you will find here on this area the name of the every variables, the types of every variables, the decimals of it, and if you would like to put labels, you can undergo here labels. In terms of values, you can change also the values here. In terms of level of measurement, it is presented here in the column of measures. So those are what you can see in terms of the variable view of SPSS. While on the data view, this is the area where we can encode all the data that you need. So in this area, you can encode that. So first, we have the variable view, and next we have the data view. And lastly, we have also the so-called the output viewer or the output view. So the output view will looks like this one. Okay, so all of your outputs will come out of this plain area if you are going to compute afterwards. So all of the outputs can be seen here. The algorithm of the computation will be viewed here on the output area on the left, in the left area. So in going back to the data view, now you can see here in the data view this area. Now, how could we encode the data? First, we need to go to variable view. We need to create the name of the variable. So for example, the name of the variable would be in terms of, shall we say, respondents. So after you create respondents, if you observe, there's an automatic output, whereas it involves a type of data that is numeric with a width of 8, with a decimal of 2, and the values, which is none, missing, none, columns none, and aligned to the right. The data will be aligned right, and the measures is unknown because we did not enter the data first. We just provide the name of the data. Now, if we proceed to the data view, we can now encode the data. The encoding of the data is vertically or per column. So for example, I would have 10 respondents. So I'll just put there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So shall I say I have 10 respondents? And if you observe, if this is a respondents, you chooses to have it as a whole number, no more zeros. So again, you go back to variable view and control the decimals. By just clicking up there, you will see the arrow up and the arrow down. By just clicking arrow down, you can see the decimals now will have 0 value. And to double check that, if you go back to the data view again, you can observe that there's no decimal anymore. Okay. Now, going back again to the variable view, I would like, for example, to have the data on, shall we say, classified the respondents in terms of sex. And in terms of sex, we have there only, shall we say, two values. It's either 1 or it's either 2. And I would like to code that if that is 1, that is male. So I only need to write the digit 1. So I'll put random numbers here just to provide examples. Okay, so I got those data. So if I got those data again, if you would like to maintain that it has 2 decimal places, no worries. That's okay. But if you would like to maintain that just like the respondents, and you would like to delete the other 2 zeros, again, you go back just here and control the decimals. Now, in terms of labels, you might write another labels here. For example, sex or gender to you are just the same, if that's how you define things. Now, if we are going to go to values, remember that our code is 1 is for male, 2 is for female. Now you could have here the values. You just click the values and provide the codes. Just click this one. So our values are 1. The label of 1 is male. And click add. Here, the values of 2 is what we call female. So it simply implies that this is your somewhat like your decryption code. If you encrypted male as 1 and female as 2, your decryption code will be viewed in the values column. Now, for example, you have that kind of data. Now, you would like to compute, for example, how many males and how many females were there. So, if I am going to compute, this is just a preliminary. We will go deeper as we go along. So, you just go to Analyze, then Descriptive, then go to Frequencies, then there will be a pop-up. That one. Then as it pop up, you put the variables on the right side. As you put the variables on the right side, you might now click OK. And then you will have in the output view the result of what you are computing. So here's the result. Automatically, your labels earlier became now your title, which is now gender. So it will not utilize the sex, which is the name of your variables, but it will utilize now the label. So according to the analysis, there are 7 males, which is comprised of 70%. And there are 3 females, which comprise also of 30%. Now, these are some common things that you can see in terms of SPSS. So those are the manner of coding. Things to remember in terms of using SPSS. First thing that you should consider always is that SPSS only reads numbers. It will only read numbers. I think that is very clear. So no letters or alphabet must be encoded on this area of SPSS, especially on the data view. There's no need. So you must convert all things into a quantity. That is the first thing. So encoding here, again, is you need to start in naming the variable. Then proceed to data view, and on that column, you will type the data that you are going to use. So for now, those are some things that you need to remember in dealing with SPSS.